One of my favorite things to do is to do a full swing with a lob wedge and try to hit the ball as high as I can and land it as softly as I can on the green. To get that confidence, I practice it at the driving range, where you can make a ton of mistakes to learn to do this shot. It doesn't happen overnight. You gotta hit some horrible shots, skull shots, fat shots, and shanks, everything. You have to go through all that. I was at the driving range, and I always like to do this practice. Like, I leave about 10 or 15 balls after I hit balls and grab my lob wedge, open it up, and do the biggest swing I can, a full swing, and then try to play this game where I try to land the ball as close to myself as I can. So I can get where if I have a good lie, I can land it just a few feet from my left foot. And it's such a fun game you can play against yourself. And there was a guy that was next to me hitting golf balls, and he was like, to the right, left, high, low, everywhere. I don't think he hit the center of his club face, but he came up to me and he said, "Can I help you? I see that you're getting the club under the ball and you're not hitting the ball anywhere. I can teach you to hit it straight and hit it far." And I was like, "Oh no, that's okay, thank you. I'm working on something." And he just kind of looked at me funny and walked away. And I just realized that this culture in this game is that people want to help, but also they can't stand to see other people struggle if that's the struggle in their mind. Because I wasn't struggling. I was having a blast. I was hitting solid shots and hitting these soft, floppy, feel-good shots. But he was suffering in his own mind because he thought that I was doing something else. The golf swing is very much an illusion. And so when people try to help others, it's usually not accurate at all anyway. But this just shows you how inaccurate his perception, his own thinking that he knows the golf game. Because if he knew golf enough, he would know that I'm doing flop shots. He would know that actually that's a very advanced shot. It's very difficult to do. And so I'm just giving you this example because everybody gets some sort of advice on the range. A lot of my beginners get it. A lot of people that are going through transitions in their swing are getting it. It's just everyone gets it. So I just wanted to share my story because, yeah, I get a lot of people that go, "Great swing, beautiful," and I'm like, "Thank you." But also there are people that will criticize. Like, they'll say, "Oh, you're bending your knees too much," or "Why do you use your hips to take the club back?" No matter how you try to do the right thing, somebody's always going to pick something apart. And so always know that too. It's just nature of human beings. But at the same time, golf is really to the extreme when it comes to people wanting to help others. And also, I teach my students and golfers that, you got to make a ton of mistakes. The driving range it's like a clean slate, and you can just splatter the ball everywhere. And, people say, "How did you learn how to draw? How did you learn how to fade? And how do you do these flop shots?" Believe me, it didn't happen overnight. Definitely my goal was to learn to hit it straight and then get more distance. But once I got all that, to hit a draw, I had to go through a lot of pulls and pushes, and to hit a fade, I had to go through a lot of slices or, all these different incorrect shots. And that's what the driving range is for.
There she is.
I'm gonna try to draw it around the tree.
Hey.
Sorry, fade.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Nice ball.
Yeah.
Ha! She's gone. Ha, she's
Made
back.
it around the tree. But I have to teach people as a golfer to allow themselves to make mistakes. And when they do, my goodness, they get better very quickly. It accelerates your learning curve when you do that. But then when other people, where I wish they would just look at themselves and work on themselves, I always say, work on yourself. But when other people are trying to not help you get through those mistakes, but to just, hey, you can do this to get better, and not allow that sort of transition, sort of practice to happen, it's really not healthy. I've had where, man, you know, some of my beginners, they first end up with a really good swing, but they don't have the experience. They need to hit a lot of golf balls, and they really have these beautiful swings. And so they'll go to the range and they'll be like, okay, I went to the range, and a guy came up to me and he's like, you really have a beautiful swing. It looks great, but can I tell you, you know, what you're doing wrong? And it's happening all too often. And so I'm just wanting to explain this because as an instructor, I see the after effect of all these tips that people freely give to each other. And I'm reversing it every day. Every single day, I'm reversing all those things that people try to do or have been told to do. And I see the end result of those, even these little comments, you know, keep your head down, swing through, just let it go, trust it. Trust what? What's there to trust? And then everybody ends up thinking that it's their mind because somebody, you know, a friend said, you know, you swing really good when you're doing a practice swing, but when you actually hit the ball, you know, it's not good. And then they think they need to go to the mental hospital because it's in their mind, but it's not in their mind. You know, that's a whole nother video that I'm going to talk about, but it's something that we need to be aware of. I'm just putting it out there so you can be aware of it. This is why random advice is not helpful because one, it takes a long time to change one habit. It really does. So unless you're monitoring that person and you know that one or two things can really either change all the other things in the swing for the better, or those one or two things can maybe work that day or that round or maybe a week, but then it's slowly breaking down so many other areas of the swing. So you really have to figure out and see what move is going to continue to improve the swing. It's a lot more complicated than it looks. And so this is something that I want to kind of over time show you that what I see. And right now what I see is I see the end result of all these tips, and I am a deep thinker. I dig deep, and I know the root cause of a lot of the issues. I always go to the root of things. That's where the truth lies. That's how you can change. That's how you can see miracles happen and big, huge changes, is to get to the root of it. And whenever I go to the root of it, it circles these parts where people try to help each other or get information where it's not the right information for you. I know it sounds harsh, but at the same time, it's because I care. It's because I see the end result of it. People see like them giving somebody advice and then they don't know what that really truly does to that person. I mean, it could ultimately end up having somebody really hurt themselves. That's the most important thing. To me, health is most important, then golf. So the good thing about fundamentals is you can have both health and good golf. And so here is the illusion of the golf swing. I'll get more in depth with it in other videos, but this is why it's really hard to help people, because one, people don't see the swing correctly anyway. It's like a flop shot. Everybody thinks that you have to help the ball up in the air. You have to keep the club open and keep it open and help the ball in the air. And yeah, I get that. It looks like that right now. So watch me hit this shot, and it's gonna look like I'm getting under the ball, staying under it, okay? But you know what? That's not what I feel internally. When you do the right motion and the right turn and the right form rotation, you don't have to do anything. Right there, through impact, I feel like I'm doing the same swing that I am with other clubs in my bag. The club face is open when I start, but when you do the right fundamentals, you do not have to compensate incorrect movements. And so you can allow the technology of the club to do the work for you. So I have a 62-degree wedge. I opened it up. I'm doing a full swing. But with the swing that I have, I've learned to not have a lot of compensations. And so I'm able to let the company, you know, the club manufacturers, they do all the work for you. Let them spend the time and money to create this beautiful wedge that's going to give you the loft that you want. And you do the same swing. You don't have to try to do anything, really. Do nothing. And literally in my body, I'm not trying to go under it, but in the video, it looks like I'm trying to do that. And I want you to start realizing that what you see and what you do and what you feel are all separate things. Okay, so again, I had mentioned to you that as you watch these videos, you're gonna start seeing golf a completely different way. You'll never see it the same way again. And I really hope that you open your mind, and this will not only improve your golf game, but also give you a healthy mindset, because you get to see things more clearly and truthfully. Have fun.